Greetings folks, in this video I'll be talking about the 3D printer. I'll show you how to change colour halfway through a print for black numbers on a white plaque. I'll be using Fusion 360 to come up with a 3D model. Ultimaker Cura is the slicer program. They're both free downloads and it's what I use for everything, and the Ender 3 3D printer. I'm using white for the background, black for the numbers. This is eSun PLA Plus filament. So here's the model in Fusion 360. I'm not going to show you how to design it in Fusion 360. I'm not that adept at it just yet, but basically it's an ellipse pulled up to be 3 millimeters high, and then text on the top of the ellipse with the numbers also pulled up to 3 millimeters high. And then you export that file as an STL file, the usual procedure. Save it somewhere, then open up Ultimaker Cura and import that file, or open that file in Ultimaker Cura to generate the Gcode to drive the 3D printer. And here it is. This is full size on the showing it on the print bed, and the actual numbers that I'm using 180 millimeters wide, but that's like a 4 or 5 hour print, so I'm going to scale it down just so I can print it a bit quicker. So there's a scaling option over on the side. Here it is here. Reduce it to 50%, and I also want to move it to the front left corner of my print bed because the center of my print bed is deteriorating, so things get stuck there. So you can move it around on the print bed, you can move it laterally, you can rotate it around as required. And now we need to hit slice so that we can look at the preview. Tells you how long it's going to take to print. So we hit preview up the top. And in the right hand side here we can scroll down through the 12 layers of this print. And what I'm trying to do is find where the top of the background, the ellipse, sits, which layer that is, so that I can pause the print at that layer and then change the filament. And I think I worked out that layer 9 was just sort of a little bit up into the letters, so that's a safe spot to pause. So I'm just viewing this to remember that layer 9 is the layer we need. All right, so now we go back to Postprocessing and we modify the Gcode. And there's a list of scripts here you can choose from. And pause at height is the one we want to use. And you can pause at a height in millimeters or at a layer number. And we know it's layer 9 we want to pause at, so we'll enter 9 there. And this 190 is where the printhead goes during the pause, so 190 and 190 is fine. We'll see that later on the actual print. I don't really understand all these other numbers, but retract 4, that just pulls the filament back when it's paused a little bit. And you want the pause temperature to be 210 degrees so that it stays hot and you can change the filament basically. Don't know about the extrude amount, I'll play with that later on. So close that. And we'll reslice it. Oh, we'll go back to the prepare screen. And we'll reslice. And that now has that program stop added into the code. Save the code onto the little SD card. And just remember to go back and turn off that pause at height because you don't want that to do the same thing for the next print. So on the SD card, pop it into the printer and find that file on the SD card and press start and let it work its magic. So when it heats up, the printer finds the 0 point or the home point. Does this for every print. There's the black filament, getting it ready to change. Then the printer sort of prints out a line along the side just to clear out the nozzle. I shouldn't be pulling that off at this stage. And then it starts the print. It would be nice to have some sort of alert or alarm when it goes into pause. I'm sure it's possible to do it. I haven't worked out yet how to do it, but I kind of knew when the print was going to pause, so I just kept checking back every now and then. So this is where we set up the pause at layer number 9, and the head has parked itself over here, which is 190 and 190, I believe. Now I can change the filament. As long as the temperature's up at 210, squeeze the extruder clamp and just pull it out like that. Make sure we don't let go of it. Put the other roll on. Now I'm feeding the black filament in. All the way, you can see it going through the tube. Push it in, it's extruding a little bit. And now we can just click to resume. So this will now start printing black eventually, just on the top part of the letters. So there it is, that's all done. There you go, nice set of house numbers. Now also in that post-processing list, there's a little script where you can display the actual layer number rather than the time left if you want to. So that, for doing this sort of thing, that's a good script to initiate. Where are we? Display file name and layer on the LCD. That way you can see which layer it's printing up to and get an idea about when it's going to pause. And this is what you see on the screen. You can see layer 8 of 14 in this instant. That was a different print, but that's a useful little display on the screen. So I hope that's helpful. Just a kind of a quick view of the possibilities for basic 3D printing. Thanks for watching.